Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a lovely day. You know that the video is going to be makeup related when I start a video with no makeup on. A big part of me felt like it wasn't necessary to join this bandwagon of recreating your younger self makeup looks until I remembered a particular story which I feel like would be super hilarious for me to share, and it does involve me recreating a certain look which I know is going to be awful. As a kid, I found it hugely difficult to walk past the magazine section in any supermarket and not beg and beg and beg my mum to get me one until she eventually caved in and did. I'm sorry, I was a terrible child. If I didn't get into videoing and film somewhere along the line, I probably would have gone more into the route of writing because I love to write stories and pretend that I was writing articles for magazines. I used to really like magazines like Girl Talk, which is a super girly magazine on the topic of boys and problems with friends at school, relationship issues. I mean, if you call those relationships that you had when you were about 10, and sometimes they came with a free gift, and that excited me because a particular magazine I picked up one day had free bronzer. It looked nothing like this, but this is the closest thing I can kind of find because this was super cheap and the same-ish colour. It was a little box and then you lift up the lid and it came with a brush inside. Quite a strange thing to put in a kids magazine in my own personal opinion, because not a lot of kids would know what bronzer is, and I certainly didn't, hence this story. There wasn't any explanation in the magazine how to use the bronzer either, so it wasn't like I could go anywhere and find out how to use this. I assumed this bronzer was not bronzer for your cheeks, which you're supposed to put under your cheekbones. No. I assumed it was foundation. I'm gonna let that sink in for a bit. I thought this brown stuff was meant for your entire face. I think we all know where this story is going. I remember going to town with it on a particular day where I had a date. Thinking about it, I wasn't actually too young. I was around about 13 years old, and it was the first kind of proper guy, I suppose, that took interest in me, and we decided to go on a date, even though every date that I went on with this guy, I made my friend come with me and forced her to be a third wheel. I don't know what was going on in her head. Maybe she didn't care, because who cares when you're a kid? If somebody invites you to the cinema, you want to go to the cinema. But I went on dates with this guy every single weekend, and we didn't even speak to one another. It was just me communicating with my best friend and him kind of being there and existing. We could chat on MSN all night though, I mean, that's no problem. I guess now you've got alcohol to numb the pain on a first date, so that's probably how I cope with life now. So technically I haven't changed too much, it's just alcohol that's joined the equation. What I'm gonna do is try and do exactly what I did to see how I may have looked. So I'm guessing that I just started off with this as my like base. Oh my god. What I must have done is just seen this as like, well, it covers up everything, literally, so it must be a foundation, and I just put it all over my face. Oh my giddy aunt. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe this is a whole lot more darker than the bronzer was that they gave you in the magazine. At the end of the day, I did put bronzer all over my face, so that's what I'm going to do with this. You're going to totally assume I was just like one of those girls that go around with orange faces. I mean, technically I was, look at me. But that totally wasn't because I thought it looked nice and I wanted to be tan. It was just because I thought that's what the product did. Oh my god, look how nice my teeth look. I look like an Oompa Loompa. I remember never being confident with my freckles either, so this was kind of like a way to cover them up because I didn't know, you know, foundation is supposed to match the colour of your skin. I feel like I could not have gone outside like this. Surely not. It probably was just a lot lighter and gave me a nice little tan that just looked really stupid. Yeah, it definitely conceals the stuff on your face. So now that we're concealed and looking beautiful, I was going to say let's move on to my eyebrows, but no, nobody ever touched your eyebrows back in the day. However, eyelashes were the bomb. The thicker, the better. Naughty. Very big and long and spider lashy. It was just cool, you know, to look like a spider. As you do sometimes like miss your eyelash and accidentally go on your eyelid instead, and you'd have like the little bits on your eye from the mascara wand, but that didn't matter. That was always left. It doesn't matter to show that you've gone to town on your eyelashes. Let's just get real close on this beauty. Look at my face compared to my hand right now. See that black going onto my eyelid? Yep, that doesn't matter. Just adds to the full effect. Dada! I'm looking stunning. Lips were a fairly non-existent thing back then as well, so I'm going to add some concealer to my lips purely because I know that it was not like a thing to even consider your lips. Oh my god, look. Oh my god. Yes. Lips. What are those? We'll go over my eyelashes one more time. I had like a middle parting back then. Put that behind my ears. So there I was, completely unaware of how beautiful I really looked. Maybe this is a hugely dramatic version of what I actually looked like, but the funny thing is I specifically remember him telling me that on our very, very, very first date, he had brought his friend along with him, who was a girl who wanted to come along, you know, see what I was all about and see what I was like, etc, etc. He had told me that when me and my friend had just gone away for a little bit to maybe, I don't know, do some shopping, and those two had just waited around for a little while, his friend had actually said to him, "She's really beautiful." And then he had turned to her and said, "I know," whilst looking at me. He said to me on MSN that they had had that conversation. Of course, he wouldn't tell me this face to face because we wouldn't even talk to each other face to face. And at the time, I was flattered and I was like, oh, that's so lovely that they were looking at me and thinking that whilst I was completely unaware. Why were they looking at me and thinking that? Why? Have you seen this? Eventually, the bronzer ran out. I stopped using it. Thank the Lord. That magazine needs to be sued. So that style stopped becoming a thing, and I just kind of stayed well away from bronzer since then. Although I still use it now, but just in the right places. And the next kind of makeup crisis that I specifically remember, a long time after that, really. Wow, look at that. So straight after that little crisis, I went into the smother me in foundation and put black all over my eyes phase. I'm gonna use some foundation which I don't really care about wasting. Lovely. Actually, no. A brush is something I never used. I used to just smother it on, not really caring about where it goes and whether it's blended or anything like that. I mean, who cares? It's just foundation, right? The most important step on the lips. Wow, I look like an actual ghost. I never wore concealer, and the ironic thing about this is that after that bronzer story is the fact I never wore bronzer either, and contouring hadn't really been a thing yet. I was completely unaware with the fact I looked like the moon. All I wanted was my freckles to go. That was all I cared about. So now let's get on to my wings, which I started doing when I was coming to the end of high school. The fact I had wings made me happy because I felt individual and different, and this was before it was kind of cool to have wings. Now it's quite hard to go outside and see somebody without them. But then it was more of a statement. It meant, hey, I'm emo, scene queen, princess. Bow to me. I'm going to get this MUA eyeshadow palette, their 5th birthday limited edition, and take this black and go under my eyes because that is where I felt like all the black was supposed to be. Don't even ask why, because technically I couldn't give you the answer. So these two situations I'm giving you right now are probably my worst two makeup trends, and you can actually find some videos where I'm wearing this particular face. If you look hard enough, they will be there somewhere. However, some videos it was so bad that I had to just remove the video because it was that bad. It was cringing me out that much. I just couldn't do it. I had to remove the video. Even though I loved the video, I just couldn't look at my face. Good old liquid eyeliner. I've been using it all my life, even though I feel like I've improved. So I'm not blaming the eyeliner at all. I'm just blaming my skills. You ready for this? You ready? Wings are supposed to hook, right? Well, no, but that's what I thought. You want big and bold and beautiful. As a learner, you always try and start off quite small and then you keep going wrong. So for example, I might start doing this line and then it like goes a little bit weird in the middle like that, and I'm like, crap, so now I need to go over all of that because I don't want anyone to see that mistake I've made. And then I'd make another mistake and go, oh crap, need to go over that because, you know, it's gone a bit wrong. Oh. And then fill in the gaps, and gosh, I look beautiful. I know I always go on about it, but this is particularly bad for me because I have hooded eyes. When I relaxed my eyes, they just looked hell on earth. Like, look at that. Moving on to the next eye. Did I care if this wing matched this one? No, I did not. And create what I used to call raccoon eyes. I totally thought that I was going to have some form of trouble recreating this because of how crazy it was, but honestly, I've nailed it. Now, of course, we've got to get the big sweepy fringe, which I still have. It was a bit more sweepy, like it was a bit like a forced sweep, like a sweep that wasn't supposed to be there. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. To go with all this, I pierced the veil top on, keeping with that emo vibe. Wow, looking at myself in the mirror is seriously giving me flashbacks. This is exactly how I looked. I mean, I think a big part of me was a bit worried about making this type of video because I didn't want to bash anyone's makeup styles, and even though I'm taking the mick out of myself, some of you may want to do makeup in a certain way or you want to look a certain way, and that's absolutely fine. The reason why I find this so funny though is because I was completely unaware about what I was doing, and it's funny to me to think that I looked like this but I didn't see myself as this. I look like my eyes are upside down. Now that I've finished embarrassing myself, I would like you guys to leave me in the comment section below some things that you used to do as a kid or as a child and you think back at and slightly cringe inside, because I would love to hear some of them, and now that I've completely mocked myself and made myself look like a complete idiot. I love you all so much. Thank you very much for watching. You can subscribe to my channel if you haven't already to be notified every time I make a new video. The subscribe button is down there. Also in my description I have social media like my Twitter, Facebook and Instagram that you can follow me on, and I'll see you guys not tomorrow but the next day. See you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.